Alright, things are whirring around. Low, nothing. Medium, nothing. High. Welcome back to Living with Classic, and if you're new to my channel, I hope you stick around and consider subscribing. I put new videos every week, so there's always something new to watch here on the channel. Today's video, we're going to start tackling the heating issues. My 1991 Daimler XJ40 behind me right there. It's the same as a Jaguar XJ40, just with a bit more trim. If you're new to the channel and haven't seen this car before, I'll put a link to a playlist up above so you can see when I picked this up this summer, what's happened to it so far. So really what is going on is, might be a couple of issues. These cars have a couple of famous issues with the heating and ventilation system. One of them is that there are low resistors in the fans that makes that the fan speeds, all of them don't work. Sometimes maybe just one fan works, there's one on each side. There could also be issues with this whole thing, which is the brains behind everything, the climate control system in the car. Since I don't really know what the issues are, we're going to start with this end, because I think that the whole control panel I have in the car, I think I have some issues there, and I also think I have fan issues. I have checked all the fuses and cleaned all that out. I couldn't see any issues there. So really what's going on is that I only have high fan speed. Temperature works. I can select between hot and cold. No problem. I only have that one fan speed and nothing else really seems to work. So when you switch to defrost, you're supposed to, only really get air up above, nowhere else. So none of that really seems to work. I do hear the servos or the background, making noises when I change temperature. So some of it seems to work and some of it doesn't seem to work. So I have one of these spare ones that a friend lent to me. So I think today what we're going to do is remove the wood in the center console, remove the stereo, all of that. Get the old one out, just plug this one in and see if that makes a difference. If that makes a difference, then we'll move on from there. I do believe I might have one fan that doesn't run, so that will be a future thing as well. I do have a spare fan as well, and we'll have a look at that, but that won't be in this video, that will be in the next part. But I think we'll start with this part over here. So let's go over into the car, see how you remove all of this, which is good if you need to remove the stereo. It's the same procedure. We'll get all this out and hopefully this makes a difference. So step one, I've of course disconnected the battery. You always do that before you deal with any type of electrics connecting things. You don't want to short anything out. So we'll bring this into the car. I'm also going to try and set up some lights so you guys can see what's going on. I've opened up the sunroof, so maybe we'll get some lights on top of the car down there. And hopefully you guys can see when I try to remove all that wood and get to this part. Now we got some good light in the car so you guys can see what I'm going to do. So the reason I also want to try this first is because you see the wood doesn't really fit that well here. This whole piece of the console needs to go further down back here so the wood will fit over it. It's not like a big deal, but it does bother me a bit. So that's why I'm taking this apart anyway. And it's pretty simple to take this out. However, it is more difficult to not break anything. There are really only two screws that you start out with. They're in here, the cassette tray. So you got two screws here. And the ashtray part lifts out. Then there are wing nut screws in here, or nuts I mean. Undo those, and then this whole panel slides off. In theory at least, and then this lifts off as well. We're going to see if maybe I can do something about that. It's a little bit loose. Not really a big deal though. And then in here there are a bunch of screws. You can see the screw holes in here. And when you get all those out, then this whole thing pulls out, at least hopefully. My plan is just to pull it out, lay it to the side, and connect up this one. The cables are pretty long on this, I think that should be fine. And we'll see if this makes any difference at all. Like I mentioned, we'll start with the two screws in here, and then we can pull the ashtray out. I'm going to store the screws down here in the first cassette tray. And then this whole thing lifts out. When I've done it before, I've had this flap open. However, what happens is when you get this halfway out, you can damage the wood on here. in the bottom. At least that's how I've sort of noticed it. So I'm going to loosen up like that first, and put it back down a little bit, close it up, so otherwise you'll scratch the back of the wood down here, and then it lifts up and it gently slides from 2 tabs down here. And then there's also a electrical connection underneath here for the cigarette lighter or cigar lighter. There we go, that's disconnected, and that can just be removed out of the way. Now, down here are 2 little sort of wing nuts, which are in plastic, I believe. I'll put those in there as well. And here's a little bit of close-up. These just plastic or nylon or something. Now this should be pretty easy to get out. However, it can sometimes get stuck up here. You don't want to crack it right here because it's not that strong, really. So we're going to start sort of just wiggling it a bit. Hopefully it will come out pretty easily. Let's see, if this is loose, I'm actually just going to remove it. Yeah, there's some tabs here, but mine are broken off, so I just lifted this off. And I'm just being really, really careful not to bend anything. But you have 2 studs you need to get over the holes in here. There you go. This came off as well, so if things like that come loose, I like to remove them just so I don't break them. And of course need to disconnect the electrical connections here for the sport button. There we go. There we go. And there it comes off. Like, see, it's not difficult, it's just you want to be really careful because you won't want to break it here. And just wiggling it really carefully, I found that this is the second time I've had it out in this car at least. So the reason it doesn't fit well there is probably my fault last time. I had the radio out just when I got the car to fix it. Alright, so we got the screws here and now. 6 of them. We'll remove those. I haven't sat in this car in a really long time until now, and now I remember actually why I bought this thing. Such comfortable seats. It is incredibly comfortable. I really need to start driving this thing more. This year, hopefully there'll be more chances to drive more of the cars. Otherwise, I think I'm gonna swap the daily driver duties around a little bit so I get to drive all the cars a little bit. You know, if there are no car shows or anything to go to, well, then I'm just going to use them as sort of regular cars and switch around. But this one needs to have functioning heat if I'm going to drive it, or at least not on maximum fan speed. And also maybe have a look at the heated seats because they don't work, and that would be nice to have at least one car with working heated seats. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to remember how I did this last time. I don't think I removed this, or maybe I did. Yeah, let's go ahead and remove this. So I'll get the gear knob off. Once again, putting them all in a safe place. Now this just lifts off. And let's see if we can slide this out now. Yeah, there we go. I really don't need to take it out any more than this, because this is the cable I want to get to. And it is right down in there. I'm going to disconnect that one, connect this one up again, move things to the side again, hook up the battery. Let's see if we can tell a difference if more things start working. Otherwise, we're going to start up the car, let it warm up, because a lot of function on the climate control doesn't work until the engine has reached some temperature. There's some temperature in the coolant system, so we might need to do that. But maybe some things will start working already better, and then we'll know that this one is good. We'll put it in, and yeah, we'll go from there. Battery's hooked back up, so let's see if we have any difference. On the ignition. Alright, we got some life at least. Okay, that never happened before. It did not switch between auto and manual, didn't make any noise. And yeah, that wasn't working either. Okay, we only have defrost. I think that's because the engine is cold. And yeah, it is changing servo settings. At least in the defrost mode. And switching. So let's see if we set to manual. We'll let it finish. Yeah. Alright, so that's working. That was not working before, I believe. Okay, so I'm going to open up the garage door, let this nice heat out, but at least the engine will heat up the workshop again. Turn this thing on, let it warm up a little bit. Let's see if we have any more life out of this unit. It's warmed up a little bit now. You can see it's just starting to move the needle. So let's see if we get anything out of here. Nothing on that. Nothing on medium. Alright, we're getting high, and I don't know, I think it sounds like it's the same as before. I think it's just this fan on the left side running on high. And of course defrost works. And nothing else. Let's see, I'm going to switch it off so we can hear stuff a little bit better. Because this thing with the manual and auto, I don't think that was working on the other one. But I don't remember at the moment, so... And that click there with the air on the screen was, I don't think it was working the other one. I'm going to quickly hook up the old one again, and let's compare if there's any difference. Got the old unit hooked up again. So let's compare, because maybe I just don't remember things. It was, you know, a couple months ago that I actually really drove this car. So let's see. Ignition back on. Alright, things are whirring around. Low, nothing. Medium, nothing. High, fans. And it really only sounds like the fan on the left side. And we'll defrost. Okay, let's try... Okay, auto, it does change. And manual, let's set it to... Yep, that works as well. And yeah, something clicks inside the dash when I hit the air on the screen. So yeah, I probably just don't remember everything correctly. It was a while ago. So this one seems to be fine. It was good. I got to borrow another one that I know was fine. So this part of the system seems to be working as it should. So the next step would be to, we'll have a look at the fans. At least I think the right one is not running at all. So I want to remove this anyways to get to it, because it's sticking out here a bit. So every single time you want to open the glove box, it gets caught there. So I'm going to see if I can do something about that. And at the same time, have a look at the fan. I know that the fan on this side, to get to it, you got to remove... I haven't done it, but I've heard you need to drop the steering column, so that's not going to be fun. So hopefully the major issues are on that side. And I believe that the speed settings are built into the fans. So if we only have high, then I'm guessing only one fan is working on one setting on this side. So a little bit more investigating, and I do have a spare fan that should be good, so I can use that actually to plug in various places, but I think that will have to wait until part 2. And that's it for this episode on the XJ40. Still gotta continue trying to troubleshoot. I didn't really get anywhere, but at least I kind of know. It seems that the control unit is working fine. The other one I borrowed was working fine when it was taken out of the car not that long ago. It's just been on the shelf as spares, friends, so should not be any issues with that one. So it makes me feel confident that the one in the car is actually working as it should. However, it's probably some issue with the speeds in the blowers. I know it was a common issue with these cars even back when they were new. I've talked to people who serviced them when they were just a few years old, and they always had issues apparently with losing speeds on the fans. So this is a good used fan where all the speeds should be working on it. So my idea is to just get to the fan, or one of them at a time, disconnect the power cables, connect up this one, lay it loose next to it, and see if we get all the speeds done, because then we can see if everything else in the system is working. If it's a wiring issue or anything else, then we got to troubleshoot further. I really actually hope it's not. I'd rather replace these or replace the speeds, the speed part in here, than have to go through other things. But that will have to be in the next video on the Daimler. So no progress really today, but at least we know where to go to next. And if that doesn't work, then I don't know, we'll have to do some more research and see what is going on. But if any of you guys have had issues with the fan speeds on your XJ40 and you've solved it, let me know in the comments down below what the issue was for you. It doesn't mean it has to be the same here, but let me know what you guys had to do. I'd like to take a moment and thank all the supporters over on patreon.com. Thanks to your monthly support, I'm able to continue making these videos and hopefully making them better and better. If you also want to support the channel, you're welcome to over on patreon.com. You're also welcome to, if you want to support by buying some merchandise, I have hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, stickers, and I'm designing some new stuff. So whenever something new, I will let you guys know. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. And until next time, I'm Adam, and this was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.